I'd be jamming.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. We got you.
Okay, well, everyone, welcome to The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, and I am your hostess with the mostest, your hoochie mama with the drama, your baddie with the fatty, Tajja, and we're covering the Penthouse episode 9 and 10, but I could not do it all alone. Hey, please introduce ourselves.
Hello, everyone. I think I am the official The Cup groupie. I cannot get enough of being on these little episodes. I am Audrey, and I'm here to break everything down.
Yes, hello everyone. It's Robyn, and I'm here again to break down another episode. I'm so excited to be here and to be joined with Audrey because I love to have cast members on here that could spill the tea. So that's what we're here to do.
The piping hot tea. We love it. And you guys already know, if you look below through our social medias, follow us, because if you're not following us, what are you doing with your life? Like, what's going on? What's really going on with yourself? Okay.
Missing some great
content. Forms out of the way. Let's talk about episode 9. Y'all, this Penthouse episode 9, a lot has happened. You know, we just said goodbye to Jada. Rest in peace. We love Jada.
That was sad.
There's just a lot to unpack here. Robyn, you were still in the game, so like, how did it feel, Jada leaving with that whole mess? Like, what were you feeling?
Listen, the last round I got caught up. Mona is telling my secrets. I'm like, girl, I'm trying to let you trust me more. I'm trying to give you information, but then she goes and tells Edmund. So going into this next round, I'm just nervous because obviously I don't know what challenge it is. And now that Edmund knows this kind of side of me, I don't know if he's going to be treating me any differently, if he's now going to be gunning for me, because you never know. You know, so all these thoughts are going through my head for this next round.
And Audrey, I wanted to ask you, being in the jury, how did you feel when you saw Jada like walk in?
When I tell you, every single elimination was so shocking to me because we just got off of like, truly the shock was so real. We just got off of Xena coming in, and like I just cannot stress enough how shocking that was to me. I think probably everyone, just nobody saw it coming. And then when Jada then came in afterwards, I was literally like, what the fuck is happening? I was like, clearly I had no grasp on like the interworkings of this game because it was so shocking. And Jada walking in, like, you could tell that it was a shock for her as well. And then I remember I went up to her and I was like, do you need a hug right now? Like, what's the situation?
What's going on?
And you could tell that she was just in such shock. And I was like, okay, cool. No hug necessary. And so she just came and like, of course, told us what happened. And it was intense for sure.
Okay. So we jump right into a new comp, and this is a knockout comp. Where, two people are pitted together. Person who wins gets to pick someone else. And it started out with, which the funniest thing ever, started with Nick, Edmund and Mona. Right. Random. It's random. Like, do we believe it was randomized? Because I was like, was production up to something? No. But how it goes is they show a sequence of either pictures, symbols, etc., and they'll ask a question. The person who gets it right wins, or the person who gets it wrong, the other person wins. So it's like you could get by someone else messing up. Robyn, I know you had competed. Like, were you nervous going into that? Like, what was your mindset? Like,
I mean, I was nervous, but as you guys watched the competition, no one was really picking me to go head to head with anyone. I literally was probably the last person to get picked because there was no other choices at that point. And when I was seeing that nobody was picking me, I'm like, oh no, not me being in this good position right now to eventually probably win the competition.
Now, Audrey, did you guys get to watch them compete? Like, even if you were like off to the side or like hidden behind a glass wall?
We did. And when I tell you the tension that I could feel from the remaining people was literally off the charts. Because I remember, so it was at this point in the jury, it's me, Keaton, Xena, and Jada. And so I remember at that point, Xena and Jada were still very, they had just gotten out of the game. They were
The
still
wounds
like,
were
the emotions
fresh,
were still in
right.
it.
Yeah.
And so I remember when they walked in, we were all like, we're not smiling. Like, we're not going to do any of that. Like, we're going to just look at them so intense. And so they walked in, and I just remember like looking at each other during the competition. We were like, damn, like, shit is about to go down. Obviously, things have already been going down, and the tension was insane. And we'll also talk about there's tension after the competition. There was like a little exchange that happened, but we'll get there obviously once we get through talking about the competition. I don't want to jump ahead.
Okay, so basically how it went, because I made a little list, because we love our little list. It was Edmund versus Mona. Edmund won. Edmund chose Laurel and Nathan. Nathan won. Look, this was really one of those competitions where it's like Edmund. I was like, that, like, let the boy cook. But Nathan chose Edmund and Nick. Shocked. Edmund ended up winning. So Edmund chose Austin and Nathan. Austin won. Austin chose Edmund again versus Phaedra. Edmund won. Then it was Austin versus Nathan. Yeah, Austin versus Nathan. Austin won. Edmund versus Phaedra. Edmund won. Austin versus Julia. Julia snagged that win. Then we had Robyn versus Edmund. Look, Robyn was the one who had to cut the dragon's head off. So then we have Robyn versus Julia. Love.
Good job. No, I'm so embarrassed.
They're talking and they're like, be like, you're gonna throw it to me.
And let me tell you, it wasn't. I don't know if Audrey could hear it, but it wasn't subtle. It wasn't like
no, it wasn't.
People knew she was gonna throw it to me, so I don't know why she was like even trying to do the competition. Anyway,
is that like is like throwing a competition different? Where like how do you not throw, like, I just don't get it. Did Julia ever explain to you?
I mean,
like,
she could have, as you've seen, she could have got it wrong or, whatever, and made me win. And that's what I thought she was going to do. That's why I didn't even pay attention to the comp. Because, I would have got it, but I was like, oh, she's going to throw it anyway. I'm not even going to pay attention, write anything down. Julie's going to give me it. Not this girl writing down the right answer.
And she's like, whoop. I could feel like the heat coming off you and like, you know what, fuck my drive.
No, because at that point,
it's
like, I'm very hard on myself, especially when I'm in these games, especially, I want to prove my worth. Not just, I know I'm a social butterfly and I could make social connection, but, gameplay and like challenges, especially in a game like this where challenges are a thing, I want to be able to like at least win one challenge. So like that's why I was really frustrated, because I was so close, and I could have gotten it.
Right. Well, Audrey, watching it, how do you think you would have done in this competition?
I think I would have done so bad. I'm just, I just, there's something about it. There's something, because, I feel like I am the certified Penthouse comp beast. I did so well in the first, few ones that I was in. But, I think I just would have done so bad. I'm kind of oblivious whenever it comes to, trying to, search on screens and stuff. Even just going back to, the Big Brother competition last night where they were having to find a certain phrase on the screen. Everyone was on Twitter, this is so easy. I didn't see a single one. I couldn't find any of them. So I think I would have done so bad, because I pay attention to things that aren't ever questions. And so it would have been a no-go. I would have done poorly.
The faces would have been easy for me, but then you had to sit. I was like,
and also, weren't there questions about people from past seasons?
There was, yeah.
I would have flopped so hard. I only watched season 3.
I know. I'm glad I didn't get that question.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't
remember those people's names. I barely remember the people's name on this cast. Hello.
Yeah, literally. Literally.
I don't even. No, I'd have been like, no, I'm out. Or I would have guessed something random and been like, did I get it? But, so Julia ends up winning. Should have been Robyn, but we move.
It's okay. We're still allies. She's not going to put me in the bottom or anything.
So did you feel a certain type of way? Like, did you get over it, or were you just kind of like you felt it like, I'm gonna get you.
No, I was just like, girl, why didn't you just throw it? Because it was like obvious that you were gonna do it anyway. So her trying to even fake it wasn't necessary. But I mean, at the end of the day, it was fine because we're still allies. I know I'm gonna be safe.
So with the remaining people, because there was like 8 or 9 people remaining, right? Can't do that in my head. Who would you have put? How would you have placed people? And I'm like, you don't have to like who would have been like your top 2 and who would have been like your bottom 3?
Well, I know she put me where she put me, but I was gonna put Julia next because obviously she threw the challenge, and then I was going to put I was probably gonna put Mona next, just because she saved me the other round, and then Edmund probably would have went somewhere next along that line. So it would have been
your dead last person.
Phaedra. Phaedra. I mean, I would try to vote Phaedra out, but I just never had the numbers to do it. So.
You know what? Well,
maybe I was one of 2 votes for Phaedra, where she voted for herself.
Yeah, it's something that.
And Jada thought I voted her, and I hated watching that. I was like, no, Jada, I didn't vote.
Did you guys ever get to discuss that, or do you think?
I mean, yeah, afterwards, yeah. But.
Well, that's good. Okay, so
the little exchange that happened after the competition. So how it goes? So Julia wins, right? And then I think at this point cameras cut because they're switching people over to the other house. The whole little process. All of a sudden, Laurel is like, I think we only need like 5 minutes for this. We can get this going. Because I guess Laurel was feeling really confident about the situation. And I remember at that point, I mean, it was clear kind of the division in the house at that point. And so Laurel makes that asinine comment, and then one of many. And so I remember at that point, Nick was obviously annoyed because it's like, well, who the hell do you think you are to just be like, okay, I think we only need 5 minutes. Like, let's get this show on the road. LOL, bites her in the ass, but I digress. But I just remember
do what they're gonna do.
Literally,
like, we're not going nowhere.
Oh, it was so arrogant, and I remember rolling my eyes so hard whenever I heard that. I was like. So I could only imagine the like full tension of still being in the game at that point.
Right.
Crazy.
Especially after doing a knockout competition. Because I've done many games, and when someone chooses me, I'm always looking, I'm like, bitch, there's all these other people, and you had to do me. Especially if you win it, because then you're going to put someone up, and then you already know they're going to look at the Edmund situation. He just was set up from the beginning to be put in, and it was just like, ugh, I mean, it's the name of the game, but like still, like, ugh, I've been pissed. But anyway, we're gonna get to the guest list or the rankings. So this is when they took out all of them. There's no VIP list anymore, right?
No.
So like none of y'all bitches is safe. So So
that was sick. I was like, when I was actually probably gonna be on the guest list.
Right. So before this started, I'm thinking, Julia maybe felt bad for Robyn. I would have done this. I would have put Robyn as my next. Well, Julia didn't do that. Julia puts up Laurel, then Phaedra, and then Austin. And then it's like bottom 5. Then it's Nathan, Mona Lisa, then Robyn. I'd have been like, bitch, you couldn't even put me at the top of the bottom 5.
I'm telling you. And when people are like, why are you making such a big deal? I was still safe, And I'm like, it makes me question your loyalty that you're willing to even risk me possibly going home. So that's why I was like, I love Julia. Of course, that's the bestie. But I'm like, in the game, I was like side-eyeing her really hard.
Well, it's the fact that afterwards she's like, oh, crap. I'm like, what you mean? Oh crap! Like you put Laurel on Facebook.
Now you're forgetting.
Did she explain to you like what why she like did that.
I mean,
Like,
she wanted it to, of course, be a strategic kind of move, like she always does. And her point was like, she didn't want to put me in the top because, of course, she didn't know who was going to get the switch. And if it was somebody not within our alliance, let's say it was either on Edmund's side or Laurel's side, I wouldn't be caught like someone would want to switch me from the top into the bottom. So I get that, but I was just like, nah, you risking me. Plus, I don't think any of those people would have switched me because they were always going after each other, which
right.
was good for my positioning. And I thought Julia knew that because she knew we were kind of both in the middle. But who knows?
It's like, come on, mastermind. Like, you got all these well, we'll talk about that in a different episode, but all these theories and all these numbers crunching and all this, I'm like, you didn't think I'd be okay? Well, anyway, after Robyn's placed, it's Edmund and then it's Nick. And I kind of already saw it coming. It would have been either Edmund, Nick, Edmund. Like, I was just like, yeah, you know, that's just how the cookie crumbles with alliances. And, you know, you can't like, you know, hate the game, you know, or hate the player. So then we cut to the switch. We cut to the switch, and it's Jada and Xena. And I didn't know where they would have gone with it, because in the beginning they were like, don't want to do this person, nope. And I'm like, you don't have that many people you can't say no to. Well, they ended up choosing Nick. And so when they chose Nick, I was like, what is Nick gonna do? Because, like, obviously take himself out the fucking bottom. Like, if I'm ever that situation and someone does that, I'm like, bitch, you think I'm gonna no. Like, get me on top. And he ends up taking who does he switch with? Mona, right?
Laurel?
No.
Laurel, right?
He switches with Laurel. How did you feel? Like, were you ever scared? Well, no, because you were in the bottom, so you know he probably Audrey, you need to stop.
Yeah, he was not gonna switch myself with him.
Did you think it was gonna be Laurel that he switched with?
I thought it was either gonna be Mona or Laurel at that point, because there was always that rivalry. Again, that's why I like keeping in those people. I was like, let's keep them going at each other.
And I was shocked. I was shocked that they picked Nick for the switch, because it seemed to me that they were, both of them, Jada and Xena, it appeared to me, working with Laurel while they were in the house. And so I was like horrified at the prospect that they were going to give her the switch, because I was like, at that point, you know, taking my personal feelings out of it, I could see how people would interpret her game as being good. And so I was like, if this girl makes it to the end, like, I will, like, not to be shady or whatever, but Laurel was, for me, the one person who I was like, as long as they aren't the ones who win, I will be good. I will be fine. And so I was like, they're gonna give Laurel the switch. I'm gonna be so upset. But, like, you know, you gotta be supportive. And so when they came back and were like, we gave it to Nick, I was like, oh my God, thank God. I was so happy, because I literally, because that was the only thing running in through my head at that point was, okay, what's gonna happen? Because Laurel was in a very good spot, at least how I was perceiving things. Laurel was in a very good spot. And so when I heard that they didn't give it to her, I was like, thank God. Thank you, Jesus. I am so happy. So I was elated. I was like, maybe it was me just talking the shit in the jury house. Maybe it pushed them in the right direction.
Now Audrey got that power. No, I was kind of surprised they didn't choose Laurel either, because I thought, you know, they all had Laurel wasn't the one who betrayed them. You know, Mona's the one who did, like, that, and then the whole voting process thing. Laurel, you know what I mean? So I thought it was
either going to be Laurel or Phaedra getting it. So I was really shocked when it was Nick, because I was like, I thought they were on opposite sides. But that's to show you, like, you can make these people really bitter at you, and they could, like, not give you the switch at all. I find out. But yeah, I was gagged by Nick getting the switch. But it was good, though, because it shakes up the game.
It's not like the same old. Well,
it's not predictable at all.
Well, we see that, like, Nick obviously switches himself out with Laurel. Laurel's like, okay. And even Laurel even said in the confessional, I know none of these bitches are gonna save me. So I'm gonna pick Mona Lisa, which I mean,
Laura, you
like,
wish you had that switch power still, huh?
We love a full circle moment.
here's the thing about that. So, okay, no shocker. Mona Lisa, you know, Xena picked Mona Lisa. What did Mona do? Pick power. Laurel picked Mona Lisa. What did Laurel do? Picked power. So we say goodbye to Laurel.
Woohoo!
Wow.
I don't know.
Anyone heard from her since filming?
As Laurel is about to leave, you know, Edmund kind of, you know, is like, I would have picked you. She walks out and he just goes, nah. And then the door slams. I just knew homegirl was just like, you know what? Get me the F out of here. I can't. Even though Laurel like told Mona that she understood. Y'all was too fucking not. People are anyone. If someone chose like people too nice, because I'm gonna say, bitch, don't. I'm gonna go boop. I'm gonna push him in the forehead. I'm like, bitch, don't touch me, because I could have stayed, but you're a punk ass. I just, not another. I understand. It's okay. No. I'd have knocked something over. I'd have toppled the couch. I don't know. Flashed my titties. I don't fucking. I'd have done something dramatic. So Laurel's out, and I cannot remember what Mona Lisa's power was. Oh, Mona Lisa's powers was she could switch her. The defender. No, the power is they get to switch two players, right? Yeah. So Mona gets to switch someone, and she switches herself and Nick, which we knew that was gonna happen. Like, you know, anyone could have seen that happening. So Mona switches herself and Nick. So the bottom four are Nick, Nathan, Robyn, and Edmund. So we get to talking about votes.
Me feeling really safe.
Like, I'm gonna need y'all to discuss it, because I'm gonna take a nap. Robyn, you were there, so can you just guide us through some of the fucking mess?
Well, I don't know what everyone else was doing, but because of the last round and everything that happened with Edmund, I didn't want to vote Edmund out. You know, I was like, okay, he really has my back. I could see him being a really good ally. He really has no one right now, and I would like to rebuild whatever betrayal I did to him. So I was trying not to vote Edmund. I was like, okay, the next best thing that people will probably want to jump on is Nick. So I really try to push that for my game, so that I could keep Edmund in. And again, he will always be that shield and target in front of me. And it wasn't working because everybody wanted Edmund out, and I was just like, well, you know, a lot of this game I've noticed I've had no say in whatever about who had to go out. Everybody was just doing what they want to do, and I was always pushed to the side, which kind of helped me because it took out people in the game. But I was like, I can't own any of these moves.
Okay, so everyone's running around like chickens with their fucking heads cut off. And one thing I've noticed about Mona's gameplay, she's very, very paranoid. Very paranoid. And tries to be like bossy, kind of like saying like, why is everyone discussing things why are we blah blah? I'm like, and baby girl, that's gonna get you like, that's gonna bite you in the ass in the end, because nobody wants to be like, feel like they're being told or chastised, especially when everyone's an adult. And it's like, I know for me, the personality I have, there's only so much I can take. And I'd be like, bitch, let me talk. I can talk to this person. I want to talk to this person by myself. Doesn't mean we're doing this, but I understand that's the name of the game. Trust nobody, especially since Mona's the one you really can't be trusted, because that girl was all over the place. Like, I don't understand, like, the moves, the conversations. It was just a lot to process. Like, there was just a lot. Like, there's talking about final threes. I feel like everyone had a final three together, and so I was just like, so who's really loyal to who? And I'm like, y'all know, like, people were talking about final fours, 4 alliance. I'm like, this and that. I'm just like, so who's really loyal to who? It was a mess. It was a mess.
Yeah.
Well,
I would say I had 3 different final threes in my mind.
Yeah, so okay,
Final four,
so
final
we'll
three.
pause for the cause real quick. Who would you guys have wanted in your final three to the end? We can go based off game wise who you think you could beat, and then on the flip side, who would you have wanted friend wise?
Who
You
I
can
would
you can
think,
start, Robyn.
yeah, who I would think I would beat. Well, in the game, I thought I could beat Phaedra. And I don't know who else I think I would be. Maybe Keaton. Maybe everybody. I think had a really good chance. Maybe Mona at the end. Now knowing what I knew about looking at the game from the show perspective, because I really in my mind I was like, no, they're gonna respect her game. They're gonna love it that she was such a snake and she was so loud. But my ideal final three was either me, Austin, Julia, or me, Nathan, Austin. Something of that capacity.
Audrey?
I'd have to say, so Robyn, there was a moment in the first round where you and me were coming down the stairs and you turned to me and you were like, it was when we were talking about throwing our votes onto Matt, and you were like, I really feel this great connection with you. You are amazing at connecting with people. Cause from that moment I was like, holy shit, I have Robyn's back till the end. And obviously I'm really bad at verbalizing things.
Really bad.
But I was like, no, you're so good. I was in my head, just even with that one conversation, I was like, Robyn is it. Robyn is who I want to go to the end with. And so I would have wanted to sit there with Robyn, and then also probably Julia. I think Robyn and Julia would have been the two that I would have wanted to sit. I guess friend wise, I know that I wouldn't have been able to beat Julia for sure. I think I could have taken you, Robyn, on. I think we could have maybe gone head to head.
I think we're one and the same.
But I think Julia would have beaten me. I'm trying
Yeah,
to
I
think
don't think I could have beat Julia either.
No.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I can't beat her either.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think who else. I don't know who I think I could, because I'm very I buy into my own hype, and so I'm like, I could have beat anyone, but obviously.
Well, that's an attitude to have. Yeah, totally. I will beat.
No, but I also think in this cast of people, and I always say it, and I genuinely mean it. There's a lot of strong people on this cast that could have made it to that end and really win this game.
Yeah, totally.
There's no one you could look at and be like, I don't think they could have won.
Right?
Maybe Mona because of their snaky ass game. Maybe.
I mean, there's a couple people. We'll just sip our tea.
My pink lemonade.
Oh, period.
From Wendy's.
Okay. So pushing forward, there's a lot of chatter. There's a lot of back and forth. I feel like Edmund and Nick kind of know hey, this is what it is. This is what's gonna happen. Nick kind of catches on to it and was like, you know what, I'm gonna have to vote out Edmund. This is kind of the end. Edmund catches wind of it. Nick and Edmund have a heart-to-heart. And when I tell y'all, I started tearing up because
yeah, it was really special.
When you play games and the narrative that Mona, it was on camera for everyone to see. Mona's one who was spreading that narrative that Nick and Edmund were a duo because they knew someone in production. So they already got typecasted together. Plus, they're both black men. They're
queer men, black queer men.
Black queer men. So they're typecasted together anyway. The frustration I know they have where it's damn, I'm really going down this ship because everyone, and after a while, once you play games and people put you together, you're kind of stuck together regardless. So there's no way for you to branch out because everyone's like, oh, well, you come. And there's been times when people are like, Nick, sorry, you're tying with Edmund because this and that. Y'all are doing that. Y'all are not giving these people an opportunity. And we're going to call a spade a spade. It's because they were both black men and black queer men. They said they were, this narrative was painted, which I mean, I ain't mad at people for trying to spin it, but just it's irritating sometimes because I've played games to where people have been picked off based off like, you know, like it just, we all see how shit works in games.
We've
Like
sat in
like look at
nomination
Big Brother.
chairs
We
together too
finally got
many
our black
times.
winner, and we had to have 6 black folk in there. Like, what the hell? So I totally get. And then like, you know, it's kind of been painted that Edmund is this like this villain character, which I mean, like, people are allowed to feel how they want, but to see him like really just have this like heart to heart with Nick and be like, I understand, I get it. I was over there like, bitch, I'm so sorry, Edmund. Like, you really
Yeah, because
killed
I
that
feel
shit. You
like
were killing the game, and it's unfortunate. That's the way the cookie crumbles. I don't know what the vote count was. I don't know if anyone could tell me the vote count. But we ultimately.
I think I did vote out Edmund.
Yeah, who did you
Because
vote for, Robyn?
after on the staircase, after he was like, "Well, you were the one who betrayed me" and stuff. I was like, well, Edmund doesn't seem like he's gonna get over me betraying him, so it's just better for me to not make it an issue. So I did vote out. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
think it was definitely a
obviously,
majority.
spoiler alert. I mean, if you're watching this, you should maybe watch the episode beforehand. But we do say goodbye to Edmund. King stays king. Edmund was really killing the game. Like, he was vocal when he needed to be. You know, it's just somehow, you know, sometimes games navigate that way.
And we see how
it's
much
unfortunate,
entertaining
but
it
you
is.
know, he went out with a bang.
Mm-hmm.
And then the episode aired, like, so it's like, you know, we're all just like trying to figure stuff out. And then, you know what? They were like, Penthouse was like, let's feed you real quick. Let's give you this Switch video. The video that broke the fucking Twitterverse.
I will say I was uncomfortable, so I didn't watch the full video.
I had to watch it a couple times because the first time I was a little uncomfortable. I think there's like 100 comments on there now, or maybe not that many. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. There's a lot of comments. There was a lot of controversy.
I mean,
a lot of tweets,
look at the comments right now.
The girlies were tussling. So Robyn, you didn't watch it, but Audrey, you did watch it, right?
I did not watch it, but I was there. So
Right,
they let us.
Like, you were there.
Oh, you were like peeking in the kitchen with Gina. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, fully. So I've mentioned this a bit on Twitter that the whole time once it was known that it would be Edmund and Laurel that were the ones who had the Switch, a lot of the previous host was very like, you know, okay, don't talk to anyone, you know, we want to really make sure that we get all of the emotion on camera. And no one else watched any of the other switches. Like, they didn't let us watch Xena and Jada's switch. I mean, nobody was there for me and Keaton's. And so this was the only switch that we all watched because everyone was like, oh, it's going to be so good. It's going to be amazing. And again, like, I keep going back to, I really think that subconsciously creates like the idea of like, okay, everyone's coming to this, like, I need to perform, like, I need to
give us a show.
Right. And so I think that like inadvertently puts that into people's minds. And so when I tell you, within like 30 seconds, I was like, they need to cut the cameras, like, they need to stop, like, they need to, this is not ending well. This is not going to be good. And so it was awful to be in the room, like, just like putting it straight in there. It was horrible being in there. It was a lot of emotion. By the end of it, both parties were sobbing, like full inconsolable sobbing. And it was just like, me, I'm like, my heart's racing even just like thinking about it, because it was just
it was rough to watch. Yeah,
it was a lot. So I did not watch it, but you know, I have the memory seared into my mind. But it was it was very like, even the night before, so whenever because how it worked was Saturday night was when Laurel and Edmund got into Jury House, but then the switch was filmed the next morning. And so a lot of time to kind of ruminate on the situation, to kind of start thinking about. And whenever Edmund came into jury, I knew that I had to like, because whenever Laurel got to jury, we'll start there. she was crying the whole thing, and literally me having like main character syndrome. I was like, oh my god, I did it, I got her
You're
out.
like,
This was because of me.
Debbie
But
Ryan, like hair touch.
no, fully. And so and then I was just relieved at that point, because like I was saying earlier, like she was the one person where I was like, I just don't want her to win. Anyone else can win, but I just don't want her to, I don't want it to be her. And so when she came out, like relief washed over me. Obviously me and Laurel, like I think it's like both parties would say like we just aren't meant to be friends. And so it was very much that. So I wasn't excited to see her per se, but I was excited to see her from a game point. And I was so nice to her too. I was like, because she was crying, and so I gave her a hug. I was like, Laurel, like we didn't work together, but of course I don't want to see anyone sad, like, good,
Right.
The whole thing. And so then they're all Xena, Jada, and Laurel, they're talking. Me and Keaton at this point, we're just happy to be there, like we're just,
Right.
we're there for the ride. And so it was, they of course still had a lot of emotion. They most recently all were in the game, and of course Jada had kind of a traumatic exit as well, and so she's obviously feeling a lot of emotion. And so I could feel from this conversation that if Edmund were the one to come in next, that it would be an icy welcome at that point. Like I not in the way where I thought specifically Xena and Jada would like hold that forever or anything like that, but the initial reaction would be like, what were you doing? Very much that. And so I whenever he walked in, I was like, I need to just start talking. And so I was just like, Edmund, like, what happened? What went wrong? And I went into like the whole little reporter type situation, because I knew if I stopped talking, Laurel would start talking, and it would just be downhill from there. And so I was just like, trying to put my best foot forward to keep tensions at bay. And so, and then once it was over, Laurel like made a comment where, and I don't know who specifically started this paraphrasing, but it was talking about, maybe Edmund was like, at least I made it further than you, to Laurel. And Laurel was like, it's not like we didn't get out the same round. And so it was very like the night prior, there was like back and forth moments for sure. And so leading into the Switch conversation, the Switch heard around the world, it was already definitely heightened. It was, and just like comments. And there was a moment too where Edmund turned to me and he was like, what is her issue? And I was like, you don't even want to get me started. And so literally me and Edmund, we went down to the dungeon, and I just like unleashed, because at that point, like nobody was speaking on what I was seeing from her actions. And so when Edmund got there, I just like fully unleashed on like everything that I was feeling. And like he was very much like, yeah, no, totally. And so I was like, finally, like I'm not crazy, like other people are seeing this too, like. And so we definitely had a little vent sesh downstairs in the dungeon. But then of course, leading into the Switch conversation, it was a lot of emotion. It was very emotional. I think at that point too, from there on out, Laurel just checked out from the entire experience. And just like, because like I have mentioned how we were able to go see the competition, she didn't go see the next one, she stayed back at the house, like fully, when I say checked out, like she checked out.
Oh wow.
At that point. Crazy.
Well, we are going to get a little bit into the Switch conversation. For anyone who's going to be in the comment sections regarding race politics or whatever, I'm gonna say this once: if you're white, I don't want to hear your opinion on what POC or Black people feel, because you don't know what we feel. You don't know how we pick up on certain microaggressions, on certain the in and out AAVE, which is not cute. The baby, I told you this. Like if you like, because how I am, I'm like this all the time. I was raised around this. The only code switching I do is at work when I'm like, well, hi, did you guys find everything okay? Oh my God, okay. But like, I don't switch up around people. I don't think I'm something I'm not. So the code switching was just a big thing for me. And I don't know how it is in like non-Black households, but when you clap at somebody, is she lucky it wasn't me? Because I'd have jumped up real quick. You don't clap. You don't like do this. None of this. She's lucky Edmund showed restraint, because a lot of people would have been like, bitch, who are you? And then the whole getting loud thing, which, here's my thing. Had Edmund, as a black man, done any of that, he would have been seen as aggressive. He would have seen as a bully, as this, because we already saw what happened with the whole Jada situation, which I've talked about that, and I said I was not, that was just kind of like wrong on his part. You can tell someone, like, you know, they're not playing a good game, but like, just the whole situation was just like, but Edmund has also admitted his wrongdoings, has apologized, whatever. First watching the switch, I was like, oh, like, why is Edmund talking down to this girl like this? Why is she's only 19, blah, blah. But if like you sign up for a show like this, like, you're not 12 years old. Don't use the I'm 19 thing. I don't care, because if you can get on here acting grown and doing all this, you can take this type of conversation. So I had to watch it. Like, the first time I watched it, you know, I went from a stance of, this man is harping on this woman, like, Jesus Christ. And I've been in like friendships like that before, to where I felt like a friend that made me feel so little, and I'm just like, why is this man doing this? But then watching it again, it's like, to me, it's like being provoked. And I'm like, you can't do like the quicklies and the this, that, and not expect someone to. And he didn't even get loud. He just turned and said, you're blah, 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 blah. You're fucking this, blah, 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 blah. And the fact that, I know Laurel's Asian, but it's a very white woman tactic to use the tears, get up, cry, whatever. I've seen it in games so many times, and usually it works, but maybe it's not going to work this time. So I just wanted to address that real quick for anyone who's about to pop off in these comments. My Twitter is MSTAJJA. I will never be
below, right there.
Right down there. I will never be disrespectful on this podcast, because this is our creation. This is something beautiful. You know, never want to disrespect. Logan is a godsend for creating this all. However, if you want to take it to the Twitter streets, let me know. we know, and I got backup accounts too, so don't try me. But I just wanted to let that known. Edmund, you know, you were a force to be reckoned with. You're not perfect. None of us are perfect, but we see you. Nick, we see you. Zena, we see you. Jada, we see you. JP, we see you. Anybody else? I'm trying to think of all the Black folks.
That was it. That was it.
We see you. We love you. Happy Black History Month. That pretty much wraps it up, unless y'all had anything else y'all wanted to say. I know we're at like the 47-minute mark. I just wanted to let my peoples know, y'all people, I love y'all. If Lana was here, she would say she loves y'all. We all love y'all. Y'all killed it. Thank you for representing for season 4. For season 4, y'all did the damn thing, and
yes,
I'm proud of you guys.
Yes,
that's it. That wraps it up for episode 9 and episode 10. Unless y'all have like any last minute throw-ins, anything you want to say?
No, we did this episode pretty.
Before I get all emotional because I'm about to cry.
It was pretty straightforward kind of episode, and I think, yeah, everything happened. You know, I love Edmund so much, and I'm glad that he has apologized for the things that he said. And I also want to say, in the game, like when he left, I also said it was okay for him to like have emotions. And you know, this game, it's very stressful, and unless you've actually played one of these minis or any of these games, you don't know how stressful it is. And yeah, it's just games, and we shouldn't take it so personal, but you are just with these people for these however X amount of days or amount of hours or whatever, and you kind of develop these bonds and things get emotional. And I think people should be able to express their emotions without being crucified for it, no matter who they are. Because as we see, Mona could be rah, 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 and nobody's really saying anything. But when it's Edmund, it's a different story. So I just want people to look at themselves if you're seeing it like that, and just, you know, check your biases, and you know, other than that, enjoy the show. Whatever left of the rest.
Okay, well, I don't know if y'all know how we do it around here. Well, y'all been on these before. We do have a
Why you
little
having it?
drinkies.
Wait, that can't. Oh, that's Sonic's.
I know. I'm like, cover the label. Cover the label.
Right. Right. We'll just blur that out.
Perfect.
Blur that.
Love that.
Not, you know what? Oh wait. Sponsored.
McDonald's. Fast food.
The Holy Trinity. There we go.
Well, we want to say thank you all for tuning in. Before I get emotional, because I was like blocking myself. I'm like, okay. We want to thank you all for tuning in to The Cup, aka the Currently Unnamed Podcast, with Tajja and
Audrey. Woo!
and
Robyn.
And yeah, thanks for coming, guys. We appreciate it.
Of course,
Yeah,
always a
thanks for having us,
pleasure.
per
Always a
usual.
pleasure.
Can't wait to be back for next episode.
Ciao. Okay. And sound guy.
Not the sound guy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye now. Goodbye. Okay.